Welcome to 5-Star Weekly, a new DP, 2 match reviews, and a preview of the game on Sunday. We get into all that and more coming up. Welcome to the show, 5-Star fam. I'm AJ, and this is Marc. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. This segment is sponsored by Thinking Man Tavern, a cozy Decatur neighborhood pub. Grab a tasty beverage from a wide variety of selections and a plate of something delicious from the menu. To go, check out Thinking Man Tavern. Follow our Twitch for watch-alongs on match days on twitch.tv/ATL UTD FanTV. We've got a ton to get through, so let's get started. Okay, unfortunately, it starts with the Inter-Miami match where we lost 2-1 on Saturday. And unfortunate as well for us, I think mostly, Breck Shea gets the winner against us. Very annoying to some degrees, for sure, as he didn't score for us, but he scores against us for them. But, yeah, we'll very quickly get through this because many of us probably do not want to revisit this very much. As, yeah, we played Inter Miami a lot, and we will play them one more time in 2020. But, yeah, in terms of the starting lineup, Goose, Bello, Robinson, Walks, Escobar, Remedi, Larry, Josetu, Gallagher, John, and Mulroney. And, yeah, Gallagher on the left, yeah, that was definitely, I think, something of a refreshing sight, for sure, as, you know, he scored our goal. But, you know, it is one of those games where, you know, very frustrating to many degrees. Miami dominate a good portion of some of the proceedings as well. They look, you know, more able to find the back of the net a lot of times. And, I mean, you know, when we only muster 8 shots throughout the entire match, not very good. But, you know, kind of going through, yeah, I mean, on our goal, at the very least, John Gallagher, he scored his first MLS goal, and it was assisted by George Bello for his very first assist in 2020. And, I mean, we, unfortunately, yeah, we give up a goal within the first minutes of the game again, and it's just kind of rearing its ugly head. Very just deja vu type of match, where, I mean, it seems like Diego Alonso pretty much has us scouted to the T. Like, he knows how to play against us. He's played against us with Monterrey, so there's a confidence with playing against us, even though they were languishing, at least at the time, in last place in the Eastern Conference. And so, you know, plus that, you have LGP, who very intimately knows us as well. You have, you know, you have players that you know have inside knowledge pretty much on how we play and how we, you know, some of the players are weaknesses, you know, where they can exploit. And so I feel like it's very much that type of match where, you know, they find exactly where the spaces are to really attack us. But you know, I think throughout this match, it's just, you know, it's the frustration that we are currently feeling for, you know, this kind of pretty bad stretch. You know, 1 win in 10. You know, you just have players that are not, you know, able to find the back of the net. You don't know where goals are going to come from on any given night. You don't have your talisman on the pitch, and it's also our first match ever for Atlanta United without a DP on the pitch. So it's difficulties all around. But, you know, you have any thoughts, Marc, on this match on a whole and general, you know, review of it?
Yeah, well, I'll touch on the last point you made, which is that was our first match without a DP. And when you think of, like, the type of players that are usually in Atlanta United's lineup, you know, how Atlanta United have been known to play, those designated players have been pretty important. And so it just, I think it shows kind of where Atlanta is right now in terms of maybe not rock bottom, but certainly a low point for the franchise. Yeah, you know, it's these matches that Inter and United have played. There hasn't been too much in it. You know, they've been close, and Miami have found the edge, I guess, in 2 of 3 now. And so I do think, to a degree, it is Diego Alonso. I think his style of management in particular is pragmatic. You know, he depends on his difference makers, and Pizarro again is popping up with the decisive assist. You know, and so Breck scoring. You know, I do. It seems like he's been playing more left wing for Miami, which, like, if you look at the profile of his career, that actually makes sense. Like, he's in general like a left-sided player. You know, he's decent. I never thought he was bad. You know, I think you and I agree on this. I never thought he was like terrible for LA United. Maybe he had to get used to playing left back, but
yeah, played out of position, left wing
right.
back, left back.
Right.
Instructions maybe were different for
Sure.
him as well. He had to, you know, play as Frank de Boer wanted him, and that was a little bit more backwards horizontally sometimes.
Right. And so, but I mean, I think, you know, it may be a case where Miami's just a good fit for him. So, yeah, that's really, you know, it's tough. Seeing I think the disparity in shots is the big thing, especially when you're at home. And a point that I've seen Joe Patrick make is that these teams have to travel and play on the same day. And so you would think that Miami's at a disadvantage having to travel to Atlanta and then play. But, you know,
It's a short flight. It shouldn't really matter, you know. It's
I mean, yeah,
it's like
yes
an hour and a half flight. Yeah.
You know, but it's extra. You know, it's extra. Like, yeah. I know, like, getting off the plane and all that. I know it's not like super taxing, but I wouldn't want to do that on the same day as playing. You know what I mean? Especially when there's like a couple hours from like maybe traveling to the airport, I guess, or I guess they go straight to the stadium probably. So. Yeah, maybe there's something in that, but yeah, that's basically my thoughts. I mean, like, it's we just didn't have enough quality on the field, and I think at the end it showed.
Yeah, and you know, in terms of the talk afterwards, talking about not having a designated player, Stephen Glass, he talked about how he said, quote, "You have to try and control the things that you can. Obviously, we were a threat with the pace that we had. We didn't have any of the DPs, obviously, but I think it's the first time in our club history we've done that in a game. It puts you in a battle against a team that has top players. In terms of the work rate, I can't fault the guys. There are certain situations that could have been prevented with a little bit more know-how. That's something you do get from the top guys. Balancing the playing field is about work rate and doing the things you can control well, doing it every single time. It's difficult when you don't play with DPs." Jeff Larentowicz kind of spoke a little bit more about it, but kind of brushing it off and saying that it's not really an issue. He said, pretty much, he said, "I don't think that anyone stops and says, 'Oh shucks, we don't have a DP tonight.' Everyone stands up and everyone's got to play, and for the most part, attacking-wise, which is where our DPs are, I thought we were all right. We created chances, had a really good opportunity to bring the game level." And so, yeah, it's some good points there in that, you know, the game state could have been different if, you know, they had found that equalizer. Stephen Glass did say that he felt like they could push on to get the winner, but I think the difficulty is absolutely right now is, you know, who's going to, like I said, who's going to put the ball in the back of the net. And, you know, when you have that huge hurdle at the moment, you know, finding that second goal is a really mystery and something that we have to, you know, find. We have to, you know, identify which players can, you know, if they're in front of a goal, can, you know, help us win games, because go ahead.
And it really doesn't help when we concede early, you know what I mean, like getting ripped apart like they did in the second minute leading to the first goal like that. So, you know, I think there has to be adjustments all around. Exactly.
It's where you know, well, we saw some adjustments in the next match against FC Dallas, but the you know, set piece defending, the you know, just dead ball situations and the ball over the top, it's been an Achilles heel, like I've said, throughout the past month. It's something that we need to rectify. And it seems like, you know, possibly they did. And so let's get on to the FC Dallas match, where we fared a lot better in terms of at least result. And I think entertainment-wise, it definitely looked a lot better as well in terms of the attacking and pressing. We were pressing high. It was frenetic. And, you know, at least our front line was, you know, starting up top. It was a mystery for, or kind of a surprise rather, for a lot of people. I kind of tooted my horn, because who else is going to toot my horn if I don't, I guess. You know, but basically in the match preview, I pretty much predicted Jon Gallagher to start up top. And because he had done so in his collegiate career as well as at Atlanta United 2, I feel like it was something that, you know, he showed that he had, you know, efficiency in front of goal. And so, you know, I think in this match where he started up top, and where the graphic from the team as well on Twitter was like super heartening, super just I think poignant with the, you know, kick childhood cancer thing, but with the kids pretty much announcing and saying each player's name. But yeah, first up was you know, Jon Gallagher, and a lot of people I think questioned, were we playing strikerless tonight? I mean, obviously, most people had only seen him as a winger or even known him to be more of a defender. So, you know, it was definitely a surprise. But our lineup was Guzan, Bello, Robinson, Mesa returned to the lineup, Escobar, Larry also persisted, Husetu, Moreno also persisted as well, Hyman as well in midfield, and Brooks Lennon on the right with Gallagher up top. And so it was definitely, yeah, you had the absence of Anton Wonks, which I think, you know, it's he's been playing well for us, solid, but I think when you have the experience of a Fernando Mesa, it allows us to you know, place our defenders probably in a little bit more of the right positions throughout a match, because he can kind of guide them, talk to them. And that was something that I think that they talked about not only in a closed-door meeting between the players, hashing out any of the things that they had against each other, but also what they wanted to see from each other. And, you know, a big part of that, I think, is having experience on the pitch. And so Larry, Mesa, and Guzan, of course, that, you know, adds a little bit more experience onto the pitch to help talk to each other throughout a match, which I think is vastly important. But, you know, going through, like, just the stats alone from the match, I mean, we dominated a few facets that I think are pretty important in terms of shots, 12-6, shots on target, 5-1, clearances, 26-17. Yeah, we didn't win the possession battle, but I think it wasn't very important for us. You know, we did, I think, lose possession kind of cheaply at times, but I think we did well to try to win it back very quickly. We played, like I said, frenetic. You know, I think the intensity was just very, very high from minute 1 to, you know, I think until halftime. Yeah, and the second half kind of tapered off a little bit, but we did still, I think, you know, we stayed resolute. But what were your thoughts on the match?
I mean, I think the thing that jumped out to me is the one shot on target, you know, and so, like, one of the things I just mentioned is conceding early is, you know, kind of a death knell. But in this case, they resisted. And, I mean, they played well overall, you know. I think they probably had the majority of the chances. I think the approach, you can see a little bit of difference in the approach, in that there was more pressing, more, I guess, more intensity in the duels, and less worry about possession. I mean, like, Dallas didn't dominate possessions 52-48. They basically split it. But, I mean, like, one of the points that I've always made about Atlanta, even you can go back to, like, the earliest days of me on fan cams, it's about, you know, us having possession and not necessarily needing the majority of the ball. I mean, I think, like, certainly when you're a top team with top players, like, that's how teams play you. They're going to concede possession, then you kind of have to do it. But, yeah, I think this is an opportunity for Atlanta to kind of get back to that counterattacking style. Maybe a little bit more pressure. Maybe a sort of Red Bull's approach to it. Maybe obviously not completely, but yeah. I mean, like, I think it starts with a clean sheet. This victory starts with a clean sheet. I think the handball maybe is a little bit lucky, maybe it's a little bit harsh. I don't know.
Fortuitous, yeah, possibly.
Yeah, right. But you get that opportunity, and Larry steps up and is clinical. But yeah, I think just a really disciplined performance for 90 minutes is I think what stands out to me. And we've been needed that badly. Like, you gotta, in terms of turning it around, you gotta start somewhere. That has to be some sort of building block. And so hopefully this is it. I'm not going to make any predictions on that, but hopefully this is the start of better form.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I mean, I think it started with the that intensity up top that we got from John Gallagher, who, like Chris mentioned in the fan cams, he was a menace all night. He really made life difficult for the Dallas back line. He harried them. He kind of single-handedly held it up and really ran at the defense on the Mulroney chance that he, I believe the goalkeeper just, parries it out, but it was I think, fashions a pretty good chance just from a long ball from the defense. But let's get back to the, the VAR ruling and how we finally, kind of get fortuitous and get a call going our way, in a sense. I mean, and then, having, a penalty called for us, I think, what is the second time, and maybe not the second time, but like second time in 2 or 3 games. And so, it is one of those where, finally maybe some things are kicking our way. We get a little bit of luck, because did it actually hit his arm? I mean, it might be a shoulder. We'll take it. Either way, we need some breaks.
Right.
And I think you saw, with Captain Larry, he's, I think, didn't want to mess about. He was like, I'm taking it. There's no one else that, will challenge me for this. I'm the captain. He took it aplomb. He was, he did, I think what the captain should do as well during this match, and just, take the stranglehold of the match and make sure that, the person that should be taking the penalty is taking the penalty. But I think also what's huge about this match is, both teams started without DPs, and so, us, like, DP-less, going against their DP-less team, we actually fared a little bit better. And, I mean, it obviously would have been a lot different of a match if they had, their attackers on the pitch that were DPs. And, yeah, they came on later on, but it was too little too late. I think we already had, what we wanted to do in the match down. We, parked it a little bit later on in the second half, but we were resolute, and I think that's what we needed to do. We needed to build that confidence, get that clean sheet, and that we did. It was not maybe the prettiest performance in terms of aesthetic, in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net through the run of play, but it is something that where we were clinical when we needed to be. So, but you saw,
I mean, and they passed
nice
some good chances as well.
Yeah, we did. I mean, and Mulroney, I think, stood out to me as a guy that, this was one of his, I think, probably best match for Atlanta United. He had 4 chances, I believe, on the night, and yeah, he got maybe a little unlucky not to score. Franco Escobar also, I think, yeah, I mean, not only playing right back, but also center back, but also not getting a yellow card. It's, I think, huge. He's, he definitely is showing a little bit of the leadership that Stephen Glass was talking about later on after the match, saying that we needed to see that type of thing from him. He's been with us for a little bit of time now, and he can kick on to, be more of a leader on this team. And maybe, maybe some players kind of need that. need that little bit of a responsibility in order for them to kind of mature. And he definitely wasn't. He might not have maybe turned a page quite yet, but it was definitely an improvement for sure. Right. But yeah, and in terms of not playing with the DP on the pitch for the second time in a row, this was definitely, I think, something that I think they wanted to do. Really harry the other team and force errors from them instead of us trying to dictate the match, completely, and just be more direct, play with more verticality. It was, definitely a lot more fun to watch this match, but definitely hope to see some more efficiency in front of goal. Try to score from the run of play. I think still very important things. We can't just rely on a little bit of luck and set pieces to score. So, but any final thoughts on this match? No, not anything that you didn't touch on. I thought, Escobar's performance was definitely important. Miles taken off of halftime, seems precautionary. Hopefully, it's not, he didn't re-aggravate anything or anything like that. But John got another 45 minutes, and with I guess we'll get into the news in a bit, but with Torres out possibly long term, he should have a run in the side. I do like that front three, though. I think that front three would start again, because I think that's an approach that they can build on. So, like I said, hopefully it's a building block for better days. Right. Because the Mulroney, Gallagher, and Lennon is that's pacey. Definitely pacey indeed, and there's some good crosses in between there from Lennon and Mulroney as well. Right. There's some interchanging. It's something that's kind of promising, and I think then you add on John at the end of the match to maybe help in the air. There's some I think some strategy that we can move forward with for sure. But some notes from this match, just to before we wrap it up. Larry, he has now scored or assisted in 3 straight matches. He's stepping up. He's showing his veteran presence for sure, and hopefully it does continue. But I mean, it's really coming from just, it's a wild card any night who's going to score right now, and right now Larry's making the case for striker. I'm joking, but
I mean, he has a decent goal record. He just has mostly not a striker.
Exactly, but anyway, so getting into post-match quotes very quickly. Kind of what the coach and the players were speaking about after the match. Stephen Glass, he talked about the team pressing high and maintaining that over the next stretch of games. He said, "I believe we can. It's obviously demanding. Now you have to maybe be a little bit more clever in picking the right moments on when to press or when to decide to leave it and to stay in your shape and trust that shape. There are times in games where it might appear a little disjointed, but that's because we are trying to change something here. The physical demands, we've had to alter the way we trained, but we've tried to change the mindset of the group to make them believe they can play like that and win like that. The club, when it's been at its best, has played like that. So it's important that we are trying to continue that trend and push the group towards that. It's going to be a long season, and so I think we can do it to win enough games to where we want it to be." So, that definitely is something that, strategy-wise and tactics-wise, that has been effective for us in the past. And so, getting back to high pressing, energetic football, definitely, I think, has many more fans buying in as the style that we want. And it does take time. It does, also take a lot of fitness. And so we might not see that every single match going forward, but yes, hopefully they can pick those moments. I mean, pretty much all the other the quotes we kind of already kind of spoke about a little bit throughout the review. So let's wrap a bow on both of those babies and get into the news. And big news this week. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do a transfer daily for you guys, but I think the previous transfer daily kind of had much of the same information except for these bits. In that Marcelino Moreno is officially our new DP. He will be taking up an international spot and the designated player spot, of course, from PT Martinez, who has gone on to Al Nassr. But reports from South America have rumored that the transfer fee is around $7 million, and that the player signed a 5-year contract. And Lanus will apparently retain 10% of his sell-on rights if Atlanta United moves him in the future. He is a 25-year-old. Technical director Carlos Bocanegra, he spoke about how, they're still sorting out his visa appointment, and it'll be followed by a 10-day quarantine, and that they hope to get him up and running in 2 to 3 weeks. But they do believe that Moreno has a good base of fitness already, although he last played, I believe, in March. So it is a while since he has played, so I think we should preach some confidence, patience in the meantime, because, I mean, I think you saw and see with the injuries to Jurgen Damm and Kubo Torres, you have kind of fitness issues where these players need to be bedded in slower, because, most of these players, they're used to maybe 2.5 months of a layoff, not 6 months or 5 months. It's an enormous amount of time where, to not play football. It's just, usually you need a little bit more time to just get back into the swing of things. So, but
right. I mean, that's the whole point of preseason. Like, you have the gradual build up in fitness to the season, but these players aren't getting a preseason. So,
indeed. But so in terms of what Bocanegra said on the type of player that Moreno is, he said that Marcelino is a player that we've seen a few years back on one of the trips to Argentina, and we've been following him ever since. He's a dynamic attacking midfielder who has proven to be a consistent performer in the Argentine Superliga. He has fantastic balance and a change of direction ability, and is a player who can create on his own or bring others into the game. And we've talked about how he can play in central midfield or on the wings. Playmaker who can beat you on the dribble. I mean, he completes 4.1 dribbles per match on average, which is, I think 2 better than the next person at LA United right now. So, if you get him in tight spaces, he can dribble you out of them. That's a very good thing. He can play a key ball, can shoot from distance, and has strong defensive work rate and contribution. So it's something that I think it's something we need, not only from kind of an attacking midfielder position, but if he does possibly need to drop back a little bit further into maybe a number 8 position, he could be, I think, very versatile in this in this squad as well. But Bocanegra did talk about how he'll probably wear number 10. It'll come with pretty heavy expectations, of course, with Miggy and PT Martinez previously wearing it, but Boca did say that it's because not a ton of numbers are available. So, him likely wearing that number 10. I mean, do you feel like there will be added pressure? I mean, the social media from LA United, in terms of one of the things that they posted, pretty much compared him to Miggy from the off because of Club Lanus's social media posts as well, pretty much saying that they will in terms of the players that Lanus have given LA United, the other one in Miggy, of course, there's been a good track record, but did that bother you at all? The kind of mini comparison. It wasn't, I think, ill-meaning or trying to put lofty expectations, but it definitely may be ill-advised per se.
Right, because I don't want to, like, it's obvious that they're just talking about where they come from, right? Like if you took their, I guess, post at face value, that's what it is. But at the same time, I didn't necessarily think it was necessary, you see the side by side and people, I guess, draw their own conclusions. I don't know. it didn't bother me personally. But at the same time, I was like, why are you doing that? Like,
yeah.
What ultimately is the point here?
It's very true. Yeah, for me, it was just like, just let's just try to give our new players a kind of clean slate. Don't bring in the comparisons to previous players, and just kind of let them be their own player. But I understand. I mean, a lot of people prefer that type of way to kind of evaluate the type of talent that's coming in. It's the best way for them to be able to know, like, what position are they replacing on the pitch. But every player is different. It's really not fair to them to be compared very heavily and say that, maybe they're me light in this direction, but also Nagby in this direction, and it's just it's just too much, I feel like, a lot of times. But
I mean, I am optimistic, like, based on what his profile, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if he is what we think he is, I think that he'll add dynamism, and if he's going to track back as well, that'll make him a really useful player in the lineup. And then, like, hopefully he can be kind of a building block that we can build the midfield around. I mean, like, Ellie and I have obviously been scouting central midfielders. They supposedly signed Jonathan Gonzalez. So it seems like a good move. I am excited to see him. I hope, like you said, they bet him in slowly enough. So, like, I know he won't play a lot right away, and that's fine. But I would, by the end of the season, I would like to see him get a chance to make an impact on the team.
Right. And so it's also, a lot of people are saying that because we don't have a manager or a head coach already in, bringing a DP might be foolish. Like, where are you, on that thought process?
I think, if you really look at how clubs operate, especially in the modern game, if you want to call it that, teams definitely scout players, like, with or without the manager. Teams themselves have their own scouting departments, and especially with the technical directors in place, they are willing to take a chance on a player that they feel like can be good for the team. And I think that it can help you in your search for a manager, being able to say, look, this is our talent, this is the roster we have to work with. Because a lot of coaches, I think, would prefer to focus on the coaching as long as they're getting good players, So I think there has to be, even with the manager in place, there has to be trust that the club knows what they're doing. And so I just think that, managers come and go, so you can't always depend on a manager to steer you in the right direction or to, make signings for you. Like, I think you have to be able to operate as a club. And as long as he's good, I don't see how that, his presence would be a hindrance for a manager coming in, or even someone like Josetu. I think Josetu has promised. I would find it strange if a manager identified him and said, I can't work with this player at all, unless, of course, he sees something else in training that we're not seeing. So I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with it. Like, you need talent. It's really hard to win in this league without designated players as well. So you need talent.
Right. And while he may not maybe necessarily help a ton for the rest of this regular season, as him coming in 2 to 3 weeks, it may be where he can maybe only contribute 5 games, maybe less, I'm not sure, but it could be where I think betting him in, it allows him to get acclimated earlier and then really shoot for 2021. But if he can really kick on and help us, we might be able to make a push, and you never know what could happen. But for me, like, seeing from that standpoint of, like, wanting a head coach already in, I mean, our setup is definitely more modern in a way because we have a technical director. We have Darren Eales also maybe putting a little bit of, some of that groundwork in for some of these new players as well. But also, I mean, Tata Martino, I think, definitely had a lot more say than maybe Frank de Boer had in terms of bringing in players. But, you kind of see that, it's somewhat effective at times. Say if you have, kind of a maybe Arsene Wenger at Arsenal model where, he's like the manager and he's got, more of the final say, and, he's kind of head of all the departments in that sense. But I think any coach that's going to be coming in, they know that they will be concentrating on coaching the players. And I think with a player like Moreno, who, if he works hard on both sides of the ball, he will fit in any system. It's one of those things where hardworking players like that, they can integrate a lot easier than, say, maybe more of a luxury player like PT Martinez. That's kind of the issues maybe you see with Mesut Ozil with Arsenal right now. Like very similar type of issues where maybe they're not working as hard on the other side of the ball, and it's kind of in terms of the game is moving more towards where the modern game, everyone has to be able to work hard on both sides. And so I think Moreno is, in terms of his qualities, maybe not his end product per se, as that's maybe still developing, I think is a good get. But you guys can let us know what you think of Moreno and what your expectations are, in the comments below. But let's move on to the unfortunate injury that also Bocanegra announced pretty much during that same press conference. He dropped the news that Cubo Torres is likely out for the rest of the season with a knee sprain. Yes, he may or may not be able to come back before the season is over, but having a player that he just brought in and then just get injured and like that, he won't be able to play for most of the season. Definitely hurts for sure. He said that the team has not dealt with the stop-start of the season very well, and it's just something that we have to deal with. I mean, we've had terrible luck with injuries this season for sure. But he also talked about the search for a permanent coach. He said it's going positively, and they have narrowed down the candidates in their coaching search, and he couldn't reveal a timeline at this time. He said, quote, "This is something we want to get right, so we're making sure we do our due diligence and make sure we get the right hire, as this is important for us." So yeah, definitely stay tuned for head coach rumors coming soon for sure. But I mean, definitely harkens back to what you've been saying, is that some people might argue that it wasn't rushed, but I mean, and that maybe Tata wasn't going to stay anyway, but it still is, I think, apparent that maybe they didn't do the diligence in making sure that he was an absolute fit in terms of Frank de Boer. So
yeah,
but,
I mean, that's all signs point. I mean, like, because it just seems to be a theme. They keep repeating, "We're taking our time. We're taking our time." So hopefully they get it right.
Exactly. And so moving on from that, well, also one more thought on that. In Felipe Cardenas' athletic article about the coaching rumors and all that, the search, he pretty much has said that we're probably not going to get a new head coach in 2020. Probably, in terms of the new person that is going to come in, is probably for 2021. So very interesting indeed if that is actually the truth. But yeah, of course, we shall see. But moving on to some new fixtures that have been announced. Yeah, there are 11 more games slated now, and it will be kind of the same pattern until November 8th on Decision Day. But it will be the Wednesday, Saturday, or Sunday type of fixture congestion that we've been dealing with. But we will face a struggling DC United. We will face Miami for the 4th time, Cincinnati for the 4th time, Red Bulls, Toronto, Orlando 2 more times, and we will finish with Columbus on Decision Day on November 8th. So it's definitely it's not super difficult, I would say, but it is. There are some very difficult matches, and also some teams that we just are sick of seeing for sure. I mean, but what do you think? What do you think of the rest of the matches and the difficulty possibly?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's that difficult. I mean, like, because there are certain teams that jump off the page in terms of they're struggling. Like, DC is dead last, and obviously it's a reunion with Crystal. We'll see how that goes. Red Bulls have one more win so 3 more points than Atlanta, but they let go Armis this year as well, so they're almost in a similar situation. We'll talk about Chicago in a bit, but they're below us right now in the standings. Really, I think the hardest games, it seems like, left are the 2 Orlando matches. And I guess the Toronto match probably is going to be difficult since I think they're also, for Atlanta United's part, like, you have to realize that all these matches are going to be difficult one way or another because that's just where the team is right now. So obviously some opponents are going to have a little more quality, are going to be a little bit better, but I think it's not the worst, it's not the easiest. I think it's a fair schedule.
Right. I mean, in terms of currently, most of these teams are currently placed 8th or lower in the Eastern Conference, and none are currently averaging more than 1.17 points per game in terms of 14 of these matches. So it'll be very interesting. I think, okay. Read that stat a little bit differently than it should have been. It's 14 of our matches so far in our 23 games this season have come against teams 8th or lower in the Eastern Conference. But I think this really it's a good opportunity to make up some points if we can find the back of the net. I think that's the biggest issue for us getting points in each of these matches for sure. But let's move on to Franco Escobar, and he's been speaking to the media recently a lot, and really trying to, I think, galvanize not only the fan base but the team as well. According to Joe Patrick on Twitter, Franco Escobar, he gave a passionate defense of the club in a really honest moment. Said Atlanta is a special place for him, and the club will always be in his heart after he won titles and has grown as a professional here. It's why it's such a frustrating time right now. And of course, he had spoke last week about how, if you don't support us when we're down, we don't need you. It definitely spurred some interesting social media posts as well, also including LA United, where they dropped the word true 17s, and that's been a thing of contention recently. But I think, mostly what they meant, at least the way I interpreted it, is, the true 17s, I think it's, any one of you or I that's, stick with the team and still follow the team and are still planning to go to the games. It's those people that are threatening to not go to games, or for frivolous reasons, or because the team is in a downturn. They're just like, I'm just not going to follow this team anymore. F Atlanta United or whatever they're saying. And it's one of those things where, I don't think most of the fans should take offense to it. But what's your take on it?
I don't know if the timing through. I mean, I guess they're clearly, I guess, kind of piggybacking off of Escobar's statement. I felt like Escobar's, even the tweet itself, but the interview, it felt, genuine, it felt raw, it felt real. I think, especially after the interview, most fans definitely understood where Escobar was coming from, I think in terms of those of us who consider ourselves real 17s or whatever, I think we do consider Escobar a true LA United player, truly, somebody who cares, truly somebody who's seen the highs and the lows of the team. But I thought the team from the team account, I thought that tweet was, it's just I don't know. It just, like I said, it felt a little more forced, I guess, whereas Escobar came off as a little more real. Even if they were making an appeal to the fans who still follow or whatever, it's fans are frustrated right now. That's just, it's, and I think they have every right to be. So, in terms of what it caused off her, I just thought that was funny.
It's some ridiculousness for sure. And some people that are questioning their own fandom, or some people that are just trolling. It's just ridiculousness. That's hopefully it will, you know, blow over soon, because it's just talking about that is just, it's like I couldn't be more over it, really. But I feel like we do need to address it, and so address it we have. But but so anyway, moving on from that, Jose Martinez, he's seemingly doing some more kind of almost longer form running. He has a GPS vest on in one of the photos that he posted recently on social media, and so yeah, slowly but surely he is getting there. Now, congratulations to new boy Eric Lopez in making the preliminary squad for Paraguay. These are the players outside of Paraguay in terms of the Paraguayan leagues. And he has made that preliminary squad for the matches against Peru and Venezuela in October. Whether he actually goes or not is a whole different thing. I mean, he might go because he's not really playing, you know, and he's kind of in limbo for Atlanta United. So why not get some fitness and, you know, show what you can do if he actually truly is picked for the team at the end of the day. Moving on from that, former Atlanta United head coach Frank de Boer has landed the Netherlands head coach job, and I mean, that's definitely I think, you know, very interesting indeed, for sure, for many people. But he will now be coaching the likes of Virgil van Dijk and Gigi Wijnaldum at Netherlands. But you know, he will also be facing Tata Martino and Mexico in his very first match on October 7th. In, you know, in lieu of all that, and that's very also interesting indeed. I think many 17s will be, I think, keen to watch how that goes, or at least know what the scoreline is. But how do you think, in terms of Frank de Boer, how he's gotten the Netherlands job? In which, I mean, many would say, yeah, sure, Crystal Palace, Inter, those are more outright failures. At Atlanta United, it's definitely more of a more just of a misfit. He was successful here to a degree. He just, you know, was let go on the back of the MLS Back tournament. But yeah, how do you think he's gotten, you know, the Netherlands job, which is pretty lofty in a sense because of the type of talent that's on that team right now?
Yeah, I think you have to think about how the job became available in the first place. Like, Coleman would have been, I mean, if everything had gone as normal, like no COVID or whatever, Coleman would have coached Netherlands at the Euros this past summer. Obviously, it's been postponed to next season, and then Barcelona and the I think they were in a tough spot to begin with in terms of, you know, getting the team ready for Euros. Other than that, though, I don't know, man. Like, some people just scale upwards, I guess. Because the thing that's baffling to me is that the Netherlands have some really good young talent right now, like Frankie de Jong, for example. And, you know, like, I don't think Frank de Boer is the last person to me that should be managing that team. You know, even if he does get them to the Euros, because, like you said, this is a lofty job. And, like, I don't think they've actually, I know they haven't won the World Cup. I don't think they've won a Euros yet either. But they're a team who, like, expect to be among the finalists, at least in contention to win it, you know? So, I don't know. It's a strange hire from my perspective. I do wonder how Dutch fans feel about it, though.
Yeah, I don't think it's been received terribly well, but I mean, to be fair to Frank de Boer, he, you know, I think is not only a Netherlands legend in terms of he was a captain of their side as well. You know, he has coached them before as well, but it is also, you know, where you know, Frank de Boer, I think what needs to be also acknowledged here is that, you know, he's a white dude. He's a white dude that's, you know, I think, let's be frank here. There are more chances given to Caucasian people. It's just the fact. And I think, you know, the fact that you didn't really hear anybody else being considered really per se. You didn't really, you know, it's just one of those things where, you know, Frank de Boer pretty much is given a long leash because he is a Netherlands legend. But there are other players that maybe should have even been given a look if they want to be a coach or not, like an Edgar Davids or someone like that, where more diversity at least should have been considered before the job was given to De Boer. But we'll see how he does. But it's definitely going to be interesting on October 7th, to say the least. So let's get into Atlanta United 2, and the Twos won an 8-goal thriller on Wednesday night. Pretty much we got 6 points in terms of Atlanta on the night, but they defeated the New York Red Bulls 2 squad, just scoreline of 5-3. Jackson Conway, Amir Bashti, Philip Goodrum, David Mejia, all on the score sheets. Conway had a brace in what was the finale of the USL championship season, at least at home for the two. So, good to see Conway also, really kind of making some waves with our reserve squad. So, hopefully, they'll kick on for their last match, and we'll see what these promising players can do in 2021. But that does it for the news, and gets us to a little bit of housekeeping. Follow our Twitch on match days for some match day watch-alongs. It's at twitch.tv/ATL UTD Ooh. Anyway, can't say that today for some reason, but anyway, so let's get to the match review, or preview rather, where we're going to be playing Chicago Fire on Sunday at Soldier Field. It'll be at 7:30. It'll be on Fox Sports Southeast and WGN-TV locally. But, yeah, Atlanta United and Chicago Fire will be looking to make it 2 straight wins. Both teams have been struggling, have been on a slide down the table, but we're both able to get wins on Wednesday. And into the series matchup against them, we've played them 5 times. It's been kind of back and forth. We, of course, we're able to beat them at I believe it was our first home match win at Bobby Dodd, for sure, right. And that was a fun match to see for sure. But recently it's been it was a 5-1 loss at Chicago last season, and then it was a 2-0 win at home against them, and 2-1 we won against them in 2018. We won 2-1 against them in away as well, and they won 2-0 in 2017, including that one that I just spoke about at Bobby Dodd. And so, it's been very back and forth. It seems like they can catch us at times where we're in bad form, or just it's a trap game, and likewise as well. But in terms of our current form, we've lost 3 in a row, of course, but before that we drew 2, and then we won our recent one. In terms of them, they have been switching back and forth between losses and draws until their win recently. And it's in terms of the standings, we're both kind of languishing in the dredges of the standings, but we're 10th, they're 12th. Our records and goal differences are kind of similar in some respects, but we're in 10th, 4, 2, and 7 in terms of win, draws, and losses. We have 14 points. They're at 3, 3, and 7 in terms of win, draws, and losses, with 12 points, and we have a -4, and they have a -6 in goal difference. I mean, it's just, finding the back of the net has been difficult. Defending has been difficult, but they're definitely a team that they are able to fashion scoring chances, but I think they're in the same boat as we are in terms of finishing scoring chances. Definitely not as adept, both of us, as teams in the league. They are a team that's not very good in very many facets of the game, unfortunately. Aerially, not as good. Individual errors, they are susceptible, defending set pieces very much like us, not very good, and also in defending long shots, not very good as well. In terms of us, we've been maybe slightly better, but also Guzan has that type of, kind of hiccup in him every once in a while in matches where he lets one in from distance and, it gets you talking to yourself. But it's just like, how did he miss that? But in terms of where they like to attack as well, they like to themselves take long shots, so we need to be wary of that. They are fairly aggressive and they like to attack through the middle, and they're a team that does play quite high, so that's maybe somewhere where we can get in behind them, especially if we play with a similar lineup to last match as well. But let's get into the players to watch for Chicago. So Robert Beric, their Slovenian forward, leads their line with 4 goals and 1 assist on the season. Fabian Herbers, or Erbers, their German attacking midfielder, has 3 goals and 1 assist. And Alvaro Madran, their Spanish central midfielder, has 2 goals. For Atlanta, I mean, Jeff Larentowicz has been a danger at goal recently, and so he's got 3 goal contributions in the past 3 games, so he's someone that they have to look out for sure. George Bello has been a threat going forward and defensively as well. He's been playing very, very solid for the team and really growing with each match for sure. John Gallagher, the surprise, forward start last match, and I think he's been looking lively. He's been looking like a person that can really, I think, hurt other teams if he can, start to find some consistency. But also, Jake Mulroney, last match, had one of, I think, like I said, his best match for LA United. He had 4 shots on goal, and so, hopefully he can continue to find more chances that could really help us. I think, he'll find the back of the net soon, I think, if he continues to get in those positions. But you want to talk about the injuries and availability for Chicago, Marc?
Yeah, sure. So they have a few players out. Goalkeeper Kenneth Conholm, he's out for the season. Their midfielder Lucas Stojanovic, I believe, also seems to be a long-term injury. Johan Keppelhoff has a hip flexor, out with that. Midfielder Jeremiah Gutros has a knee injury, so he's out. And another midfielder, Frankowski, is out with. It didn't say. So, but a few midfielders, so maybe a little bit light in that department. But in terms of Atlanta United, Barco still day-to-day. We're still not sure as to whether he'll be available for this match. Dom did seem to train, but with his hamstring and probably being cautious, don't want to rush back from a hamstring injury, especially. Obviously, we know Joseph is out the season with his knee. And for Eric Lopez, until there's news that he's officially a first team member and is cleared to play, he can only train right now. So I've kind of commented on it. It's just kind of an unfortunate situation. Not a great look for the club. So hopefully they figure out something soon in terms of Eric Lopez and his playing time.
Right. Because I'm sure he's got to be frustrated, and the frustration will grow with each day that he's just not able to help the club. But let's get into the opponent's previous 11 and how they might set up. Previously, against the Houston Dynamo, they set up like this. It was a 4-2-3-1. Shuttleworth between the sticks. Sekulic, Pineda, Calvo, and Bornstein in the back line. Jimenez, Medran in midfield. And as their attacking midfielders, Mihailovic, Erbers, Aliseda as the attacking midfielders, and Beric up top. We've been kind of struggling to find the back of the net. They, I think, have been a little bit, found it a little easier than we have, and so it's going to be difficult for sure facing them at home. But let's get into our predicted starting 11. Let's get through the lines together. Guzan, of course, but what's your back line look like, Marc?
So I'm going to go with the back four. Got Escobar at right back, Bello at left back, and my center backs will Walks and Mesa, with Miles Robinson being taken off at halftime, and then you have another match in 3 days or 4 days or whatever it is. I think they're probably going to be cautious with him. Walks, I think, has been pretty solid, so you don't lose too much there, I think. So, yeah, that's going with that back four.
Yeah. For me, I think Robinson can persist, but I don't fault if Walks does come in. I think Mesa being in there really just provides that that tactical nous, the experience that we need in there to to really keep that solidified. But let's get into the midfield. Who do you got?
So for the midfield, three-man midfield, I got Josetu, Rometty, and Hyman. That we've seen this midfield feature, that's particular three feature a lot. I know Moreno has had a good game, but I figure, with the quick turnaround, probably going to save his legs. Maybe he'll come on, but I think we start with Rometty and Josetu and Hyman.
Yeah. I think we're going to start with Larry. I think you just kind of ride the hot hand a little bit and then maybe take him off in the second half at some point. But I think Rometty and Josetu are the two men flanking him as the more box-to-box variety. But I think, I'm excluding Hyman because I think maybe need to be a little bit more defensive in some respects in order to make sure that we're not kind of caught out while we, I think we probably won't see as much possession in this match. I think we'll maybe try to hit them a little bit more on the counter, force some errors, press them a little bit more. So these are, I think, more of the variety of midfielders that can, I think, do that job. But let's get into the forwards.
Yeah, and I think in this case you ride the hot hand. I think Lennon, Gallagher, Morini looked really good together. You talked about it a little bit. It's pacey, and then you're able to get some pressing with that front three as well. And so I don't see why you don't pick them again.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully, they can find the back of the net. I have the same top three as well. I think it was a dynamic that we haven't seen in a while, for sure. That was something that, I think had many fans, I think, like I said at the top of the show, a little bit surprised, but also when they actually watched the match, fairly entertained. And so hopefully they can kick on and they can really find that cutting edge in this match, especially with what we want to see from them in this match. For me, at least, I want to see them play with more verticality like they have, at least against FC Dallas. Hit them on the counter quickly and efficiently. And, hopefully we can find that back in the net. We need to be resolute defensively again. So, if it's a 0-0 draw, I'm kind of okay with that right now. It's, we just kind of have to prioritize results over the aesthetic beauty, per se, maybe on the road. But, and then really try to, kind of take our chances more at home. But I hope that we can limit their chances, like I said, with playing compact and find our chances to score through the pressing and forcing errors. And this worked out the last match where, Larry, chose himself to be the penalty taker. If there's another penalty, then hopefully there is no question again, and it will won't be any sort of issue in the game. But anything that you'd like to see the team do?
I think you pretty much hit the nail on the head with your points, especially with the being resolute defensively. When we think of away to Chicago, we think about that terrible 5-1 result. I think that sticks out in terms of one of the worst results that Atlanta United has ever had. And so definitely, can't let that happen again. I think that it totally makes sense to be compact and to try to hit them on the counter, especially being away from home. So, hopefully they can... I would just like to see, I think that game plan was pretty solid against Dallas, and I would like to see a repeat of that and, really see Atlanta United kind of rebuild the identity.
Yeah, it would be lovely to see for sure. So let's get into the odds. According to BetMGM, Atlanta United have a 25% chance to win this match, a draw at 25.6%, and Chicago have a whopping 57.3% chance to win this match. Of course, they are at home, so and I think they maybe take account into previous score lines as well. So, with all that being said, let's get into our score prediction. And Mark, what do you got?
I'm going to say we eke out a 1-1 draw. I do think that it will be a challenge being away from home, but I have faith that they can stay solid defensively again, like they were able to versus Dallas. And like I agree with you that the result is the most important thing. So we take a 1-1 here, we take the point, and we go home happy.
Yeah. For me, I didn't go with the odds last match and predicted a loss, and I was very pleasantly surprised as, yeah, the odds had us losing against FC Dallas, but this one I can't go against. It's just, there's, you know, I think a lot of factors here that I think will contribute, I think, to a loss, but it's not going to be, I think, too bad of a loss. It's 2-1 for me, but hopefully, you know, we can get a draw or a win. I think it's just, you know, finding the back of the net is, again, very, very difficult. And so, you know, hopefully we can change those fortunes, though. But unfortunately for me, it's 2-1 loss. So let us know your score predictions in the comments below. But that pretty much does it for the entire show, except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, what do you want to see from Marcelino Moreno? Let us know in the comments below. We're looking forward to what you have to say. So guys, that's the entire show. Thank you everyone for joining us this week. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. And for Mark, I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.